Hi guys. Today I really wanted to talk to you about your math story problem number 1 that I gave you this week. It's just like the story problems that we do in class, and I thought it would be a good idea if we talk about some of your strategies that you're using, okay? So remember, there are a lot of strategies that you can use for second grade to add and subtract your numbers. And in class, we talked about a lot of them. I hope that you remember some of those strategies and that you're using them in your story problems each and every time. So remember, the reason why we have different types of strategies is because we all think differently, and that one strategy might work well for one student and another strategy might work well for another. So we have to figure out what strategy works best for us. And we also want to make sure that when we're using these strategies, we're teaching our brains how to think. So this part is very important. When we're teaching our brains how to think, what strategy is going to be best for us? Okay, so I went through some of your math story problems that you've already been turning in to me, and I printed out a few, and guess what? They're in my mailbox. I know, you see the red flag right there? That means I've got some mail. So I'm going to check them out. I think I've got 3 students that I was interested in their strategies, and it just magically appeared in my mailbox. Let's see who they are. All right, so when I collect the mail, I'm going to put that down. Oh, here they are, right here. All right, so first one that caught my interest was Ella. Ella had a very interesting strategy. So let me open up her work here. Oh, and this was the problem. The problem was this year, Lucas read blank books. Melody read blank books. How many more books did Lucas read than Melody? So that is our story problem. And you are all to come up with a strategy. And hopefully you took another piece of paper on the side and showed me your work on your paper. Now, I know that you can't turn in that part to me. You could actually, if you wanted to have like your parents take a picture and send it to me, that would be okay. Or if you can get real creative somehow and show me how you did your work, that would be awesome. Okay. And I know some of you are thinking of ways to get that part sent to me. But the part that I'm really interested in is your explain how you solved it. Okay. So this was the part that I read on Ella's strategy. So I'm going to write Ella's name up here, just like we do in class. A little bit. So we're going to write Ella. And you guys feel free to write down Ella's strategy too right now. You can totally do this, okay, with me. So if you need to pause the video, press pause, go get a piece of paper, start writing down Ella's strategy. All right, let's see. Ella said, I started with 14 and 9. I used my fingers for 14, and I counted down on my fingers to 9, and I landed on 5. Okay, Ella, so you started at 14. So 14 fingers. Let's see. Do we have 14 fingers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Uh-oh, there's a problem. We only have 10. So, Ella, I'm just going to ask you this question. How did you get the 14 fingers? Did you add your toes in? Did you maybe draw that on your show me your work? I'm going to assume that maybe you drew them. So I'm going to go ahead and draw 14 fingers also, okay? So Ella started with 14 fingers. I'm just going to use ovals to represent my fingers, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, so Ella started with 14 fingers. And then she said that she counted down. Counted down. This is a strategy that we had up in our classroom on a poster. And our strategy poster didn't say counting down, but it said counting back. And it means absolutely the same thing. So Ella, counting down, counting back, however you want to say it, it's the same strategy. Okay? So Ella counted down. And she said that she counted down 9. Okay. So that means that she took away 9, didn't she? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. So Ella knew that this was 14 and she counted back or counted down 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There we go. I started on this one counting when I should have started on that one because I really want to take that guy away too. Okay, so 14 minus 9 is, so now let's think again. Lucas read 14 books. Melody read 9 books. How many more books total did Lucas read than Melody? Well, we're ready to get our answer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 14 minus 9 equals 5, which means Lucas read 5 more books than Melody. Lucas read 5 more books than Melody. When you're doing your story problems, boys and girls, make sure you're telling me what type of strategy that you're using. If you counted down to subtract, tell me in your explain. Okay? If you are doing a different strategy, tell me that. I don't want to just see your number sentence saying 14 minus 9 equals 15. I need you to explain, how did you do it? Okay, that part's very important. We're going to keep working on that. It's called the explain part. Be able to explain how you did it. Okay? All right. Now, my next letter on my mailbox was from Callan. That's right, Callan. I saw your work and I was interested in your strategy. And I really hope you don't mind that I share. Okay, so again, we're talking about the same story problem. Lucas read so many books. Melody read so many books. But how many more books did Lucas read than Melody? So we're kind of thinking in our head, oh, Lucas read more books than Melody so far. But it's not a competition. It's just for fun, all right? We're just putting numbers there, and we know that it's not a true story. All right, so Callan chose the number set of 72 and 59. So I'm going to write that down. All right, Callan, I'm going to put you here. Callan used his number set of 72 and 59. Okay. So let's talk about the strategy that Callan used to get his answer today. So let's see. He said, first I took my numbers and separated them into tens and ones. Okay, so he took his numbers. I'm assuming these numbers. It's so hard when you guys aren't here. I can't ask you. So hopefully I'm making the right assumption. If I'm not making the right assumption, you guys leave me a message and let me know, like, hey, Mrs. Stone, that's not what I was thinking, and we can clear that up. Okay, so right now I'm just guessing what you thought. Okay, but I hope I'm guessing right. All right, so you separated your numbers into tens and ones. So do you remember what that's called when we separate our numbers into its form, right? It's expanded form. So that's what Callan was thinking. I'm going to break them up into expanded form. All right, I hope you're thinking. I want you to guess what kind of strategy he's using as I'm writing along. All right, 72. I'm going to break this into expanded form. Remember, expanded form is just pulling out its original form. 7 really means 70, and 2 really means 2. Okay, 2 objects. 7 means 70 objects. Okay, let's do the same thing for 59. 59, when we find out its expanded form, remember that's standard, let's go ahead and expand it. 50 plus 9. Oh boy, Callan, I hope I'm doing this the way you did it. You said you broke it up into tens and ones, so I'm hoping that's what you did. Okay, then I subtracted 5 tens and 2 ones to get my answer of 27. Okay, let's see here. So we have, 7 tens. I subtracted 5 tens and 2 ones. 5 tens and 2 ones. This was the part I got a little bit confused about because your 5 tens and 2 ones. So I see your 5 tens here and your 2 ones there. So you might have to go back and revise just a little bit, Callan. So do you remember what we do from here, guys? So we're subtracting our numbers. We know that Lucas read 72, but Melody read 59. So in order to find out how many more books Lucas read, we got to get rid of the 59. We got to get rid of the number that Melody read. And then that way we'll be left over. What we have left over will be the amount that Lucas read more. Okay, so we got to get rid of this 59. So we have to subtract that out. So in order to do that, we're going to go 70 minus 50. Okay, so we're going to subtract our tens. And 70 minus 50, if you guys remember, if we have 7 groups of 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we subtract 5 groups of 10, remember, this is really 70, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, and we're going to subtract 50, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. We're left with how many groups? That's right, 2 groups, which is 20. Okay, so 70 minus 50 is 20. All right, so when we add that with our ones, we have 2 minus 9. You remember, this is kind of weird, isn't it? That 2 minus 9. But it's not a big deal, okay? It's not a big deal. So do you remember I showed you the number line and how we have the number 2? And we can really subtract 9 if we wanted to. But it just goes into our negative numbers, doesn't it? 2. And then we're going to hop back 9, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so whatever is sitting here, we're going to minus that from our 20. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to get rid of my plus sign just for a moment. So this number on the number line, if we went 2 and we want 1 back, would be 1. And then 0 is right there. And then remember what becomes before 0? That's right. It's a beginning of our negative numbers. So here we have -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7. That's what I need to put here is a -7. So now I have 20 minus 7. 20 minus 7. And if you do the math on that, if you would take 20 cubes and take away 7, you're going to end up with 13. 13. And that is your answer, 13. Okay? So Lucas read 13 more books than Melody did if he read 72 and she read 59. All right, so what does our number sentence look like? Our number sentence looks like 72 minus 59 equals 13. Here's our number sentence. And more importantly, what strategy did Callan try to use? He tried to use, can you guess it? Were you guys guessing? Did you guess right? Yes. Did you say it? Decomposing. That's right, decomposing. And I think Callan said, if I'm not mistaken, oh, no, maybe that was another one I was reading. Okay, nope, he didn't say it. Decomposing, or what do we call decomposing or splitting, right? That's the same strategy, okay? Decomposing or splitting. All right. So again, if you're writing your explain, make sure you're telling me, I decomposed my numbers, or I split my numbers, or my strategy was decomposing, or my strategy was splitting, or my strategy was counting down. Okay? Be sure to put that in your explain. It's so, so important. Okay? And let's go ahead and take a look at our last kiddo. Got one more letter here. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Blue's Clues, but I feel like I'm doing Blue's Clues math for some reason. Going through my mailbox. Okay. My last letter out of the mailbox is from Logan. That's right, Logan. I saw your work yesterday, and I was very interested in your strategy. So, if you don't mind, I would love to share it, okay? All right. So, let's get Logan up on the board here. We'll use green for Logan. I'm trying to use colors that you guys can see brightly. Put Logan over here. All right, Logan, I'm going to go ahead and read. So this year, Lucas read blank books, Melody read blank books. How many more books total did Lucas read than Melody? All right. Logan, you decided to use the number set of 167 and 122. So I'm going to write that down. Which means in the story, if we plugged in those numbers, Logan read 167 books, Melody read 122. We want to know how many more books did Lucas read than Melody. I hope I didn't say Logan before. I think I did. Anyway, Lucas and Melody. Okay. Anyway, more importantly is how do we solve to find that? All right. So I was reading Logan's work, and he said that I saw that Lucas read 167 books and Melody read 122 books. I knew that Lucas read more books than Melody. All right, so he already knew that's more. So we could actually say 167 is greater than 122. That kind of puts that in our head that Lucas read more, and I think that's what Logan was doing there. So I added the tens up to 60, and it took 4 tens, which is 40. Okay, so I think, Logan, I think what you did was you started with the 122, and you did maybe like a counting up. So let's see how you did a counting up to find your answer. So Logan started with 122, and he started with his tens, he said. All right, you said I added the tens up to 60. So if we go at 10 more, that would be 132. Okay, so I think you're adding 10 more. And then if you did another 10, I think that would have been 142. And then if you added another 10, that would have been 152. And you said you did 4 tens. So I did 3, so I better do one more. Plus 10 more is 162. So then after that, you said, which was, so you were counting these numbers, 10, 20, 30, 40. So you knew so far you had to count up 40. I hope I'm interpreting your words right. You said I still didn't have enough numbers to get to 167 just yet, so I added 5 ones to get to 167. So you're at 162. I'm going to go ahead and rewrite that here. And you knew that you had to get to the final number of 167. So it sounds like you counted on until you got to 167. So 163, 164, 165, 166, 167. So we know that's 167. And then you figured out, I'm just going to fill those in. And you figured out that was 1, 2, 3, 4, plus 5 more hops. Okay. That was 5 more hops. So you needed 40 hops to get to 100, to get from 122 to 162, and you needed 5 more hops to get to 167. So Logan, I think you did 40 plus 5 equals 45. So that you knew that 167 minus 122 equals 45. So what kind of strategy is Logan using here? Do you guys remember? Yeah, he was doing what kind of jumps? Do you remember that strategy? Jumps on the number line. That's what he was doing. Jumps on the number line. Okay, he kind of created his own number line, and he did those jumps. First, he did his jumps of 10, and then he finished it off by doing his jumps of ones. And he realized that he needed 45 jumps are in between 122 and 167. All right, so Logan is going to go, the next time he does his math explanation, he's going to be sure that he tells me his explanation here. Meaning, tell me your strategy, guys. Okay? Logan used jumps on the number line. Callan used decomposing and splitting. And Ella used a counting down strategy. All of those strategies are very, very good because they teach our brains how to think really, really hard. And that's what we need our brains to start doing, to think really hard. So I'm going to ask you this question. Do you think that using a calculator makes our brains think very hard? No, it doesn't. Using a calculator is definitely a strategy for getting our answers. But for second graders, we need to teach our brains how to think hard first before we use a calculator. Once we know how to use these strategies really well and we're masters at them, it's going to take years before we're able to say, you know what? I know my numbers so well. I think I'm old enough to use a calculator now. But I'm going to tell you, boys and girls, that I don't want you using a calculator to figure out your answers. It's not an okay strategy right now for you. It would be an okay strategy for, say, maybe a high school student or a college student who has already done all of this thinking on their own and they're very experienced with numbers. Okay? All right, guys. Replay this video as many times as needed to go back and to understand. And when you do your story problem number 2, which I think is tomorrow, or if maybe you've already started it, I really, really want to see you telling me your strategy, explaining the strategy that you used. Okay, and remember, calculators are not okay. And don't forget that number sentence also. All right, that's important too. And if you find a way to send me your work that you did on paper, this part, the work part, I would love to see it. You can just take a picture, have your parents send it. If you can't, it's okay. I'm going to be able to read your explain. You're going to have to really use your words to explain the best way that you can. And remember, you guys are all becoming good writers, so use your words and give me lots of details about what you did. Okay? The more words, the better, because that way I really understand what you guys did. All right, you guys, I got to get going. It's lunchtime and I am really, really hungry. So I hope you guys, this video helped. And then we'll do one again really soon. Okay? All right. Bye.